There's a man standing in the parking lot of a repair shop in Michigan, but he's not looking at his truck. He's looking at the estimate written on the paper in his hand. His truck got hit last week. While it was sitting in a supermarket parking lot, a shopping cart rolled into it and left a small scratch. Yeah, a shopping cart moving at maybe 3 miles an hour caught the front corner panel of his truck. It's a simple scratch, a small crack in the plastic. That's it. The number on the estimate says $6,400. That number has nothing to do with the metal being expensive. Behind that small crack sits a radar sensor, 2 cameras, and a parking module. And for the truck to be legally cleared to drive on the highway again with its safety systems active, all of it has to be replaced, recalibrated, and recertified. He bought this truck a year ago. He had no idea the repair would cost him $6,000. It feels strange to him because he's never even used that feature once. He's not alone, and by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why. But before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. The headline on this video says, pickup buyers in 2026 are all running into the same painful truth, and nobody warned them. I'll be straight with you. Not everybody deals with the same reality, the same bills, the same mechanics. This isn't a story about bad trucks. Mechanically, these trucks might be some of the most durable, best-built machines ever made. This is a story about what's being installed into these trucks for safety and convenience, how it's coded, and how it's wired in. And it's a story about how a minor accident, a parts shortage, or a software update can turn into a bill nobody saw coming. Trucks are built to be tough and to last. But when something goes wrong, the problem isn't the truck itself. The real problem is a $300 issue turning into a $4,000 issue on a truck that's brand new and flawless. By the end of this, I'm going to walk you through exactly which systems are driving your bills up, why a simple oil change can now void the warranty you're counting on, how insurance companies keep making this worse every year, and 4 things you need to check before buying a new truck. I'll also break down how much the average sensor repair actually costs, so you know exactly what you're financing before you sign anything. There's one idea you need to understand before any of this makes sense. For 70 years, trucks were exactly what you'd picture: a frame, an engine, a few axles, and a body bolted on top. Say the fender gets dented, anyone with a hammer and a little Bondo could fix that whenever they wanted, right? Over the last few years, a second truck got built on top of the original one. Think of it as the shadow truck. Made of sensors, cameras, radar modules, and software, this truck sits on top of the mechanical one, wired into everything from the bumpers to the mirrors to the tailgate. The shadow truck doesn't move you down the road. It watches and it helps through observation and prediction. We're talking automatic braking, lane keep assist, blind spot radar, adaptive cruise control, parking cameras, things like that. All useful features, but none of them are free. Now let's clear up something even simpler. The shadow truck is far more fragile than the mechanical truck underneath it. A frame can take a hit. A radar sensor behind a bumper can't. And because that sensor is part of the shadow truck, replacing just that one part isn't enough. You have to recalibrate the entire surrounding system. Because these sensors are all talking to each other, and even the slightest misalignment can make the safety system stop working or worse, cause a wrong response on the highway. That recalibration isn't something you or even a skilled independent mechanic can just do. It's a job that can only be done by a technician with a laptop and a dedicated calibration target board who knows the software inside and out. And sometimes, because the truck won't let anyone else touch it, you're forced to go straight back to the dealership. That's the whole mechanism, and that's where the story really begins. Let's start with the cost of collision repair. 10 years ago, the average repair bill after minor front-end damage on a truck in America, labor included, was around $1,800. Today, once sensor recalibration is factored in, that same category of repair runs close to $4,850, and on higher trims, bills over $7,000 for damage that used to be considered minor are now completely normal. Insurance companies see this from a different angle. Comprehensive and collision claims on trucks from the last 3 model years stay higher than the same models from 10 years ago, even adjusted for inflation. That's not because these trucks crash more. It's because every claim now includes electronic safety systems that simply didn't exist before. The total loss threshold is being crossed at lower mileage and lower damage levels than ever before, because insurers weigh repair costs against a percentage of the truck's value, and sensor-loaded repairs blow past that line fast. And this isn't the same in every state. Some states use 75% of the vehicle's value as the threshold. Others look at whether the repair cost exceeds the vehicle's value. Here's something that should make you think even more. This year, at least 28.3% of insurance claims filed on new model trucks involved at least one advanced driver assistance system. A year ago, that number was closer to 21.8%. These systems didn't get less durable, they just kept spreading. They ended up on nearly every truck, on every trim level. On top of all that, parts shortages have become a real problem. These sensors and modules are proprietary, made by a small number of suppliers for a small number of manufacturers, and the moment a popular truck gets a refresh, production of the old sensor gets cut fast. Owners keep finding out that the part their truck needs to pass its safety calibration is sitting on a months-long waitlist, which means the truck stays stuck at the shop, undrivable as far as insurance is concerned, while the rental car bill climbs right alongside the repair bill. Let's make this more concrete so you can really picture it. Say you bought a mid-trim truck this year for $60,000. Forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, and a 360-degree camera system all came standard. You didn't pay extra for any of it. It's just standard equipment now. 8 months later, someone backs into your rear bumper in a parking lot. Nothing serious, just a thin crack and a dent. Let's run the numbers. Bumper cover, replacement $600. Rear camera, replacement and recalibration $1,100. Parking sensors, 2 units damaged, replacement and recalibration $900. Full system diagnostic and recertification labor $700. And for what looks like purely cosmetic bumper damage, that's $3,300. Now compare that to the same truck's base trim, without the premium package. Same accident, same bumper, but no rear camera module and half the sensors. That bill comes out closer to $1,400, still more than it would have been 10 years ago, but nowhere near what the fully loaded owner is facing. Same truck, same accident, and the bill is more than double for one reason alone: which box got checked on the order form. Now the other driver's insurance is stalling, or they're underinsured, or they're disputing fault. You're the one covering the rental car cost until it's resolved. Multiply that stress by the thousands of similar claims happening every single month, and that's when the painful truth really starts to hit home. Why did nobody warn these buyers that their safety features were going to become the single most expensive part to repair on their truck? When the moment of decision arrives, there are really only 3 paths, and once again, you're the one who has to deal with it. The first path is paying out of pocket and hoping it doesn't happen again. Most owners without a strong deductible or damage waiver end up covering a 4-figure bill directly, and a lot of them finance. That repair the same way they finance the truck, on a credit card, at an interest rate that'll make the original bill look small a year later. One owner I came across in a regional forum said he put a $3,800 recalibration bill on a store card at 27% interest because the alternative was driving a truck the shop had told him wasn't safe to take on the highway. The second path is filing a claim and watching your premium climb. Insurance companies, especially after ADAS-related claims, have started quietly re-rating policies, sometimes regardless of who is at fault, because the claim itself signals that this vehicle is going to be expensive to insure going forward. Owners report premium increases after a sensor-related claim that far outpace what you'd see from a standard fender bender. In some cases, premiums jump 20 to 30% at the next renewal for damage that was never their fault to begin with. The third path is the one nobody sees coming until it happens: the total loss letter. Because a vehicle gets declared a total loss once repair costs cross a certain percentage of its value, and sensor-related repairs burn through that percentage fast, trucks with almost no structural damage at all are being written off on paper. Last year, 23.1% of vehicles were declared total losses, the highest rate ever recorded. As a result, you end up still paying off the loan on a truck the insurance company has just declared not worth repairing, even though looking at the damage yourself, you'd think it was a quick fix. And there's one more surprise waiting after that third path. If your loan balance is higher than what the truck is worth after the payout, and we've talked before on this channel about how common that is, that total loss doesn't erase your debt. You're simply trading a truck you could still drive for a debt you can no longer get out from under. An independent repair shop owner who spoke to a regional news outlet earlier this year put it about as plainly as anyone has. He said his shop used to price collision repairs based on the damage. Now he prices them based on the trim level, because the trim level tells him how many sensors are hiding behind that plastic before he's even opened the hood. And there's something else a claims adjuster, speaking anonymously to an industry publication, said that stuck with me. The industry didn't design this to be predatory, it just never updated the definition of minor damage to reflect what's actually sitting behind the bumper today. Nobody set out to build a trap. The definitions just got outdated faster than the technology did. So who's actually benefiting from all of this? Follow the money and you'll find all the answers there. Manufacturers benefit because these systems are proprietary. Every recalibration, every sensor, every module runs through their own parts network, usually priced in a way independent shops can't undercut because they can't even get the parts. Dealers benefit because complex recalibration work increasingly has to happen in their own service bays, on their own equipment, billed at their own labor rates. And insurers benefit in the sense that higher claim costs justify higher premiums spread across every policyholder, whether their truck's ever been touched or not. None of this is a game. Nobody sat in a room and decided your bumper should cost more to fix than your transmission. This is just an old industry that built a new, fragile layer on top of an old, durable machine and never updated its costs, its insurance categories, or its repair network to match. So, what's the incentive to keep it this way? That part is entirely intentional. Nowhere in this chain is there any motivation to make it cheaper, because every layer of that chain earns more the longer it stays expensive. Here's what you actually need to do about this. First, before you buy, find out exactly which ADAS components sit behind the front and rear bumpers on the trim you're considering, and get a repair estimate from an independent shop before you sign anything. Second, check what your insurance actually pays for OEM sensor recalibration versus aftermarket parts, because a policy that allows aftermarket parts on a sensor-loaded truck can leave you with a system that isn't technically fully compliant. Third, if you already own one of these trucks, consider a gap insurance policy, especially since the risk of a total loss from minor damage is far more real now than it was 10 years ago, even if the truck itself is in perfect shape. Fourth, plan your emergency fund, assuming that accident damage could run into four figures, not a few $100s, because the real numbers can run high, whether anyone told you or not. Remember that man standing in the repair shop parking lot in Michigan, looking down at his notepad? His truck was already in good shape. The frame was fine. The engine was fine. Everything that carries him down the road every morning was just as durable as it's always been. What wrecked him wasn't the truck. It was everything we quietly wrapped around the truck and called safety, and we never could have guessed it would come undone over a shopping cart. We didn't get worse at building trucks. We just got a lot better at building fragile things and bolting them onto durable ones and calling all of it progress. So the crack in the bumper isn't the story. What's actually behind it? The wiring. That's the story. So tell me honestly in the comments, has something like this happened to you? What did that estimate look like, and did your insurance actually cover what you thought it would? I read every single one of these, and most of what's coming next on this channel starts right there. This is your car writer from Car Secret, and if you like this one, stick around, because next time we're getting into pickup secrets almost nobody actually explains, the buried clause on the warranty page that decides whether your problem gets covered at all. See you in the next one.